Okay, my name is Wayne Positan. I'm the Managing Director of Lum, Drasco, and Positan, and I want to welcome you this morning to the program. From my old Army days, I hearkened back to the idea that you have physical training before breakfast, so we managed to arrange a nice 20-minute walk for you as well before you got to the bagels and donuts. So always a nice thing to have a nice walk like that in the morning. Of course, it's a lot better today than it might have been yesterday if we had this conference. I had the pleasure of just talking to Dean Moore. I used to do the labor negotiations for FDU back in the late 70s and 80s, and I spent many a night in this building until the wee hours negotiating with the groundskeeping union, some of whom you probably saw out there this morning, Local 29. And as the old Jimmy Buffett song goes, there are stories I could tell, but I'll forego them this morning. Always good for a few laughs. We want to thank Fairleigh Dickinson University, and in particular Dean Bill Moore, who is here with us this morning, the Dean of the Business School, and Jim Baroud, the Executive Director of the Rothman Institute of Entrepreneurial Studies, for hosting this seminar this morning. We want to give special thanks to Kim Dennison, the Family Business Programs Coordinator, for all of her hard work in putting this seminar together. We look forward to partnering with the FDU Family Business Forum during this upcoming year. I just want to say a few words and brag a little bit about our firm. You probably have all seen New Jersey Monthly by now. If not, you soon will. Just came out last week, and I'm proud to tell you that 17 of our lawyers, we have 25, you will find in that book is either as a super lawyer or a rising star, something that I'm quite proud of, and the other 8 will be in there soon, I assure you. Because they're qualified. So we're quite proud of that, and we have a firm that pretty much covers the spectrum of business law and litigation and the things that keep you out of litigation, some of which we're here to talk to you about this morning. We're very sensitive to representing the small business and the closely held business, something that we've had a tradition of doing since our inception, which goes way back to 1870. So we're probably the second oldest firm in the state. We have had a long-running battle with McCarter and English about that, but we can go back to 1870 in any event. So the person I want to first introduce is our partner, Kevin Murphy. Kevin is really the person who also got us involved here and put this together, and we're all excited about it, and you'll hear for about 10 minutes each. I promise we'll get you on the road at 9:30 so that we can actually have a full business day, all of us. And Kevin, why don't you take the mic and present your part of the program, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne, and thank you all for coming out this morning. And what I am going to do is, a la Dave, it'd be good to get my notes out, but a la Letterman, what I'd like to do is my topic with I'll say the top 10 list. To start off with, in 2010, we have really, it's a great year for estate planners. In part, we can thank Congress for that. Shocking to all of us, in the year 2010, there is no federal estate tax. Even though there's no federal estate tax, there is also no longer an automatic step-up in basis. This is going to create havoc both for estate planning and also for any estate that needs to be administered for someone who has passed away in 2010. So first on my list is everyone should be reviewing their will. The reason why is that many wills are drawn with formula clauses. For example, we had someone who just recently passed away, husband, 2 sons, and second wife. Sons were from an earlier marriage. Under the terms of his will, he provided that the maximum that can pass under the estate tax law tax-free should go to the sons. The balance should pass over to surviving spouse. Death occurred in 2010. Under current law, that would mean everything goes to the sons, nothing goes to the surviving spouse. Pretty confident that was not his intention, but that was the consequence of not keeping his will updated. So again, I encourage everyone to review their wills. It's critical, particularly if the will has a formula clause that references the exemption amount under the Internal Revenue Code. The other thing is, tip number 2, as long as you are reviewing your wills, it's critical that estate plans today be flexible. Okay? In the past 10 years, the federal exemption has gone from $600,000 to $3.5 million. 2010 is unlimited because the estate tax is repealed. And next year, according to the law, the exemption is going to be $1 million. Okay? So what you want to do is, with your wills, flexibility. The way you can have flexibility is through the use of disclaimers. Okay? Tip number 3 is be familiar as professionals advising your clients with the probable intent doctrine here in New Jersey. It is something we're probably all going to be very familiar with. The New Jersey Superior Court justices are getting training right now on what the probable intent doctrine is because they expect an onslaught of litigation. Just for our example, that surviving spouse most likely will not be happy being disinherited. So you'll have to go back and say, well, what did the husband really intend? Did he intend to leave the sons $3.5 million, the exemption that everyone thought we were going to have? Or was it really intended to disinherit the spouse? So with the probable intent doctrine, what you have to do is go back and try to discern what did the testator intend, and there may need to be reformation proceedings in court. It is really anticipated that that could be a real possibility. Tip number 4. Tip number 3 was probable intent. Tip number 4 is just be mindful that although the federal estate tax has been repealed, New Jersey estate tax has not. The New Jersey estate tax is limited to an exemption of $675,000. Still have to plan. That's the disclaimer. Planning, the flexibility. Plan for both federal and also for New Jersey to optimize your estate tax savings. Also, be aware the New Jersey inheritance tax is very much part of our law here in New Jersey. I mentioned earlier estate administration. We've had several of our clients pass away already this year. We bring the clients in for a meeting, and the first thing we have to tell them is put everything on hold. I called last night. I had a chance to speak with a Senate finance staffer who advised me that Congress is in recess until April 12th, and even when they come back from recess, right now the federal estate tax is not even on the table to be discussed. Okay, so critical as we go further into 2010. Even though Max Baucus had indicated there would be retroactive legislation going back to January 1, we're already in the middle of April, and nothing's even beginning to be discussed by Congress. So tip number 5 is if you have an estate that needs to be administered, do not make any irrevocable elections until we get more certainty from Congress. Also, avoid any sales. Because of this automatic step up in basis, we don't really know if that will be the law. And also avoid any kind of distributions because we're not really sure of the tax effect until we have certainty from Congress. All right? So that is my 5 tips with regard to the repeal of the federal estate tax. But what I also want to talk about briefly is an opportunity that exists in 2010, and that is the Roth conversion. I think you probably all have read this in the business sections of the newspaper. You have, prior to 2010, if you wanted to convert a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA, there was a $100,000 limitation. That $100,000 limitation has been removed. So anyone and everyone can convert from a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA. Why would you do that? With a traditional IRA, as you take distributions out, you pay taxable income. From a Roth IRA, if you take distributions from a Roth IRA, tax-free. So obviously, a Roth IRA is much more favored. However, to convert, let's say you have a $500,000 IRA, and you want to convert that to a Roth, traditional to a Roth. You do that in 2010, that's $500,000